Welcome to your comprehensive guide for managing diseases in cucurbit crops. Cucurbits include popular vegetables like cucumbers, melons, pumpkins, and squash that are essential for many farms and gardens. These crops belong to the cucurbit family and share similar growing conditions and vulnerabilities. They are all susceptible to various bacterial and fungal diseases that can significantly impact your harvest. Cucurbit crops face two main categories of diseases. Bacterial diseases like Pseudomonas cause leaf spots and wilting, spreading through water and plant wounds. Fungal diseases, including Fusarium wilt and Phytophthora rot, thrive in moist conditions and can devastate entire crops. The impact of diseases on cucurbit crops can be devastating. Healthy plants produce strong growth and high-quality yields, but diseased plants suffer from stunted growth, reduced harvests, and poor produce quality. Without proper management, diseases can cause up to 50% yield losses, leading to significant economic impacts for growers. This comprehensive guide will equip you with the knowledge and tools needed to identify, understand, and control bacterial and fungal diseases in your cucurbit crops. Through proper disease management, you can protect your investment, prevent widespread damage, and ensure healthy, productive harvests season after season. Pseudomonas is one of the most common bacterial pathogens affecting cucurbit crops. This microscopic organism can cause significant damage to cucumber, melon, squash, and pumpkin plants through various infection pathways. Pseudomonas bacteria are rod-shaped microorganisms that thrive in moist environments. They enter plants through natural openings like stomata or through wounds in the plant tissue. The bacteria spread through water splash, contaminated tools, or direct contact. Once they reach the plant surface, they can quickly multiply under favorable conditions. Pseudomonas infections cause distinctive symptoms that progress over time. Initially, you'll notice small water-soaked lesions appearing on the leaf surface. These water-soaked areas appear translucent and darker than the surrounding healthy tissue. They typically start small, often just a few millimeters in diameter. As the infection progresses, these water-soaked areas turn brown and become necrotic. The lesions expand and may develop yellow halos around the edges. In severe infections, the entire leaf begins to yellow and decline. Multiple lesions may merge together, causing significant leaf damage and reduced photosynthesis. Pseudomonas also causes fruit rot in cucurbits. Infected fruits develop soft, water-soaked areas that quickly expand and become brown. The affected tissue becomes mushy and may emit a foul odor. Pseudomonas thrives under specific environmental conditions. High humidity between 85 and 95%, combined with warm temperatures of 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, create ideal conditions for bacterial growth and infection. Additional factors that promote Pseudomonas infections include wet leaf surfaces from rain or irrigation, poor air circulation in dense plantings, plant wounds that provide entry points, and overhead irrigation systems that spread bacteria through water droplets. To identify Pseudomonas infections, look for these key symptoms: water-soaked lesions that progress to brown necrotic spots, yellow halos surrounding the lesions, soft rot on fruits often accompanied by a foul odor, and rapid disease spread during humid weather conditions. Controlling Pseudomonas infections in cucurbit crops requires a comprehensive approach using multiple strategies. We'll explore 4 key methods that work together to prevent and manage these bacterial diseases. The foundation of Pseudomonas control starts with using disease-free seeds. Contaminated seeds are often the primary source of bacterial infection in crops. Improving air circulation is crucial for reducing humidity around plants. Proper plant spacing and strategic pruning help create airflow that makes conditions less favorable for bacterial growth. Copper-based bactericides are highly effective against Pseudomonas. They can be applied preventatively before infection occurs or as treatment at the first signs of disease symptoms. Crop rotation is essential for breaking the disease cycle. By rotating cucurbit crops with non-host plants, we prevent Pseudomonas bacteria from building up in the soil over time. These 4 strategies work best when used together. Disease-free seeds provide a clean start, proper spacing and pruning create unfavorable conditions for bacteria, copper bactericides provide direct protection, and crop rotation prevents long-term buildup. Implementing all four approaches gives you the strongest defense against Pseudomonas infections. Now we turn our attention to fungal diseases, starting with one of the most destructive, Fusarium wilt. This soil-borne pathogen poses a serious threat to cucurbit crops worldwide. Fusarium oxysporum is a soil-borne fungal pathogen that can survive in soil for many years. Unlike bacterial diseases, this fungus specifically targets and attacks the plant's vascular system, which transports water and nutrients throughout the plant. Here's how Fusarium wilt works. The fungus enters through the roots and grows into the plant's vascular system, the network of tubes that carry water and nutrients from roots to leaves. As the fungus grows, it produces spores and fungal threads called hyphae that physically block these vascular tubes. This prevents water and nutrients from reaching the upper parts of the plant, causing the characteristic wilting symptoms. Fusarium wilt symptoms develop progressively. Initially, plants appear healthy, but as the vascular blockage worsens, leaves begin to yellow and wilt, starting from the bottom of the plant and moving upward. In advanced stages, entire plants may collapse and die. The disease often affects plants unevenly across a field, creating a patchy pattern of healthy and diseased plants. The most reliable way to diagnose Fusarium wilt is by cutting the stem and examining the vascular tissue. In healthy plants, the vascular bundles appear light green or white. However, in Fusarium-infected plants, the vascular tissue shows characteristic brown to black discoloration. This dark streaking is caused by the fungus and the plant's defensive response, and it's the definitive sign of Fusarium wilt. This diagnostic technique is crucial because Fusarium wilt can be confused with other wilting diseases. The vascular discoloration is the key distinguishing feature that confirms a Fusarium infection and helps guide appropriate management decisions. Managing Fusarium wilt presents significant challenges for cucurbit growers. This soil-borne fungal pathogen can persist in soil for years, making traditional control methods less effective. The most effective management strategy is using disease-resistant varieties. These plants have been bred to withstand Fusarium infection, providing natural protection against the pathogen. Soil solarization is another effective technique that uses solar energy to heat the soil and reduce Fusarium populations. Clear plastic sheeting traps heat, raising soil temperatures to levels that kill the pathogen. Grafting susceptible varieties onto resistant rootstocks combines the desirable fruit qualities of susceptible plants with the disease resistance of hardy rootstocks. This technique allows growers to maintain preferred varieties while gaining protection. Prevention is crucial in Fusarium management. Avoid moving soil from infested areas to clean fields, as this can spread the pathogen. Clean equipment between fields and practice good sanitation to prevent contamination. Phytophthora rot is one of the most devastating diseases affecting cucurbit crops. This disease is caused by soil-borne oomycetes, which are fungus-like organisms that thrive in wet soil conditions. The Phytophthora organism is an oomycete that lives in the soil. Unlike true fungi, oomycetes produce swimming spores called zoospores that can move through water in the soil, making them particularly dangerous in wet conditions. Phytophthora can attack cucurbit plants in 3 different ways, causing root rot, stem rot, and fruit rot. Each type of rot has distinct symptoms and can severely damage or kill the plant. Root rot occurs when Phytophthora attacks the root system, causing dark, mushy areas that prevent the plant from absorbing water and nutrients effectively. Stem rot appears as dark, sunken lesions on the stem, often at or near the soil line. These lesions can girdle the stem and cause the entire plant to collapse. Fruit rot manifests as water-soaked lesions on the fruit surface. These lesions start small, but can rapidly expand, making the fruit unmarketable and potentially spreading to other fruits. Phytophthora thrives in wet conditions. The disease is most severe when soils are waterlogged, drainage is poor, and humidity levels are high. Cool, wet weather creates ideal conditions for the pathogen to spread rapidly. The Phytophthora disease cycle begins with oospores surviving in the soil. When conditions become wet, these oospores release swimming zoospores that can move through water films to infect plant roots, stems, or fruits. Once infection occurs, the disease can spread rapidly throughout the crop. Understanding Phytophthora rot is crucial for cucurbit growers because this disease can cause significant crop losses, especially in wet growing seasons. Early recognition of symptoms and understanding of favorable conditions are key to implementing effective management strategies. Controlling Phytophthora rot requires a comprehensive, multifaceted approach that addresses the root causes of this destructive disease. The first and most crucial step is improving soil drainage. Phytophthora thrives in waterlogged conditions, so ensuring proper water movement through the soil is essential. Proper irrigation management is equally important. Avoid overwatering and overhead irrigation systems that keep foliage wet for extended periods, creating ideal conditions for Phytophthora development. Preventative fungicide applications are highly effective when timed correctly. Active ingredients like mefenoxam and phocetyl al should be applied before infection occurs or at the very early stages of disease development. Finally, implementing crop rotation with non-cucurbit crops breaks the disease cycle by removing the host plants that Phytophthora depends on for survival and reproduction. By combining improved drainage, proper irrigation management, preventative fungicide applications, and crop rotation, growers can effectively control Phytophthora rot and protect their cucurbit crops from this devastating disease. Fungal pathogens cause various leaf spots and blights on cucurbit crops. Proper identification is crucial for effective disease management. We'll examine 3 common diseases and learn to distinguish them by their unique visual characteristics. Alternaria leaf blight is characterized by circular to oval brown spots with distinctive concentric rings, often called target spots. These spots typically start small and expand, developing a bullseye pattern. Anthracnose produces irregular, angular spots that are initially water-soaked and later turn brown to black. These spots often have a yellow halo and may develop pink to orange spore masses in humid conditions. Downy mildew appears as yellow to brown angular spots on the upper leaf surface confined by leaf veins. The key diagnostic feature is the grayish-purple fuzzy growth on the underside of leaves, especially visible in humid conditions. To distinguish between these diseases, examine spot shape, color, and pattern. Alternaria shows target-like concentric rings. Anthracnose has irregular spots with yellow halos and spore masses, while downy mildew produces angular spots with fuzzy growth on leaf undersides. Managing leaf spot diseases requires a comprehensive approach combining cultural practices with targeted fungicide applications. Success depends on prevention, early detection, and proper treatment strategies. Leaf spot diseases appear as circular or irregular brown spots on plant leaves. These fungal infections can quickly spread under favorable conditions, reducing plant health and crop yields. The first line of defense involves cultural practices that create unfavorable conditions for disease development. These practices focus on reducing moisture and improving plant health. Proper plant spacing allows air to circulate freely between plants. Good airflow helps leaves dry quickly after rain or irrigation, reducing the humid conditions that favor fungal growth. Avoid overhead irrigation, which wets the leaves and creates ideal conditions for fungal spores to germinate. Instead, use drip irrigation or soaker hoses to water at soil level, keeping foliage dry. Regularly inspect plants and immediately remove any leaves showing disease symptoms. Use clean pruning tools and destroy infected plant material. Never compost diseased leaves, as this can spread the pathogen. When cultural practices alone are insufficient, fungicides provide an important tool for disease management. The key is proper timing and rotation to maintain effectiveness. Apply fungicides preventatively before disease appears, especially during favorable weather conditions. If disease is detected early, immediate treatment can prevent further spread and minimize crop damage. Rotate fungicides with different modes of action to prevent resistance development. Use products from different chemical groups in sequence rather than repeatedly applying the same fungicide. This strategy maintains long-term effectiveness of disease control programs. Successful leaf spot management combines cultural practices with strategic fungicide use. Focus on prevention through proper spacing and irrigation, remove infected material promptly, and rotate fungicides to maintain their effectiveness over time. Crop rotation is one of the most effective strategies for managing diseases in cucurbit crops. This ancient agricultural practice involves systematically changing the types of crops grown in the same field over multiple seasons. A typical rotation cycle might involve growing cucurbits in year 1, followed by corn in year 2, then beans in year 3, before returning to cucurbits in year 4. This breaks the continuous cycle that allows pathogens to build up. Without crop rotation, soil-borne pathogens accumulate year after year. The continuous presence of susceptible host plants allows disease organisms to multiply and persist in the soil. In contrast, crop rotation interrupts pathogen life cycles. When non-host crops are grown, pathogen populations decline due to lack of suitable hosts, resulting in much lower disease pressure. For effective disease management, cucurbits should be rotated with non-cucurbit crops for at least 2 to 3 years. This minimum period allows pathogen populations to decline significantly before cucurbits are grown again. When selecting rotation crops, choose plants from different botanical families that are not susceptible to the same diseases as cucurbits. Grasses like corn and wheat, legumes like soybeans, and brassicas like cabbage make excellent rotation partners. Avoid rotating with other cucurbits or crops that share similar disease problems. This includes other members of the cucurbit family and some solanaceous crops that may harbor similar soil-borne pathogens. Proper crop rotation not only reduces disease pressure, but also improves soil health, breaks pest cycles, and can enhance overall farm productivity. It remains one of the most sustainable and cost-effective disease management strategies available to cucurbit growers. Proper irrigation is one of the most critical factors in preventing cucurbit diseases. The way you water your plants can either promote disease development or help prevent it entirely. Overhead irrigation systems like sprinklers create serious problems for cucurbit health. When water sprays from above, it creates droplets on leaves and stems, leading to a humid microenvironment that pathogens love. These water droplets on leaf surfaces create the perfect conditions for bacterial and fungal pathogens to multiply and spread. The humid environment allows diseases like bacterial wilt and fungal infections to thrive. The solution is drip irrigation or soaker hoses. These systems deliver water directly to the root zone, keeping the foliage dry and eliminating the humid conditions that promote disease. Notice how the leaves remain completely dry while water reaches the root zone where it's needed. This targeted approach prevents disease while ensuring plants get adequate moisture for healthy growth. Timing is equally important. Water early in the morning, ideally between 6 and 8 a.m. This allows any moisture on leaves to evaporate quickly as temperatures rise, preventing the prolonged wet conditions that pathogens need to establish. Early morning watering takes advantage of natural evaporation as the day warms up. Any accidental moisture on foliage will dry quickly, while evening watering leaves plants wet overnight, the perfect recipe for disease development. Remember these key irrigation principles. Use drip systems or soaker hoses instead of overhead sprinklers, water in early morning hours, and always keep foliage as dry as possible. These simple changes can dramatically reduce disease pressure in your cucurbit crops. When growing cucurbits, one of the most effective strategies for disease prevention is selecting varieties that have been bred for disease resistance. This proactive approach can significantly reduce disease problems before they even start. Disease-resistant varieties are plants that have been specifically bred to withstand attacks from particular pathogens. While a susceptible variety may quickly succumb to disease, a resistant variety maintains its health and productivity even when exposed to the same pathogens. Information about disease-resistant varieties comes from several reliable sources. Seed catalogs use standardized codes to indicate resistance to specific diseases. University Extension Services provide research-based recommendations for your local area. Online databases compile variety trial results and disease resistance ratings. Seed catalogs use abbreviations to indicate disease resistance. For example, PM stands for powdery mildew, DM for downy mildew, ZYMV for zucchini yellow mosaic virus, and CMV for cucumber mosaic virus. Learning these codes helps you quickly identify varieties with the resistance you need. It's important to understand that resistance is not the same as complete immunity. Most resistant varieties have high resistance, meaning they can still be infected under severe disease pressure, but they show much less damage than susceptible varieties. True immunity is rare in plant breeding. Using disease-resistant varieties provides multiple benefits. You'll need fewer fungicide applications, which reduces production costs and environmental impact. Plants stay healthier throughout the growing season, leading to higher yields and better quality produce. This creates a more sustainable and profitable growing operation. When selecting disease-resistant varieties, focus on diseases that are problematic in your specific growing area. Look for varieties with multiple resistance traits and consider how they fit your local climate conditions. Remember that resistant varieties work best when combined with proper cultural practices like crop rotation and good sanitation. Stay updated on new varieties as plant breeders continue developing improved resistance traits. Fungicides and bactericides are valuable tools in managing cucurb diseases, but they must be used responsibly and strategically to be effective while minimizing environmental impact. The most critical rule when using any pesticide is to always read and follow the label instructions carefully. The label provides essential information about application rates, timing, safety precautions, and target diseases. Timing is crucial for effective disease control. Preventative applications are made before disease symptoms appear, while curative treatments are applied after infection is detected. Preventative applications are generally more effective. To prevent the development of fungicide resistance, it's essential to rotate fungicides with different modes of action. Using the same fungicide repeatedly can lead to resistant pathogen populations that are much harder to control. Biological control agents offer an environmentally friendly alternative to chemical pesticides. These beneficial microorganisms can suppress plant pathogens through competition, antibiosis, or direct parasitism, providing sustainable disease management. Remember these key principles for effective chemical disease control. Always read and follow label instructions, apply preventatively when possible, rotate fungicides to prevent resistance, and consider biological alternatives as part of an integrated management approach. Proper sanitation practices form the foundation of effective disease management in cucurbit crops. These preventive measures can significantly reduce pathogen spread and protect your entire growing operation. The first critical step is removing all infected plant debris immediately. Diseased plant material harbors pathogens that can survive and spread to healthy plants. Never compost infected debris. Always destroy it completely through burning or deep burial. Tools and equipment must be cleaned and disinfected regularly, especially when moving between plants or garden areas. Use a 70% alcohol solution or 10% bleach solution to eliminate pathogens. Clean tools between each plant when working with known infected areas. Never move soil, tools, or equipment from infested areas to clean areas. Soil-borne pathogens like Fusarium and Phytophthora can survive in soil for years. Use dedicated tools for problem areas and clean footwear when moving between different garden sections. Weeds can serve as alternative hosts for many cucurbit pathogens, allowing diseases to survive even when no cucurbit crops are present. Common weeds like nightshade, lambsquarters, and wild cucurbits can harbor viruses, bacteria, and fungi that later infect your crops. Regular weed control eliminates these disease reservoirs. These 4 sanitation practices work together to create a comprehensive disease prevention strategy. Consistent application of these methods will significantly reduce pathogen pressure in your cucurbit growing areas and help maintain healthy, productive crops throughout the growing season. Managing bacterial and fungal diseases in cucurbits requires a comprehensive approach that combines multiple strategies working together. Let's review the essential best practices that will protect your crops. First, always start with disease-free seeds from reputable sources. This prevents introducing pathogens from the very beginning of your growing season. Improve air circulation around your plants by proper spacing and pruning. Good airflow reduces humidity and prevents fungal spore germination. Practice crop rotation by avoiding planting cucurbits in the same location year after year. This breaks disease cycles and reduces soil-borne pathogen buildup. Use drip irrigation or soaker hoses instead of overhead sprinklers. Keeping foliage dry prevents many bacterial and fungal infections from taking hold. Choose disease-resistant varieties whenever possible. These plants have natural defenses that significantly reduce your risk of major disease outbreaks. Apply fungicides and bactericides only when necessary, following integrated pest management principles. Proper timing and application methods are crucial for effectiveness. When you implement all these strategies together, you create a comprehensive defense system that protects your cucurbit crops from multiple angles. This integrated approach creates a strong foundation for disease prevention and management, leading to healthier plants and more productive harvests. By implementing these strategies consistently, you can protect your cucurbit crops and ensure a healthy and productive harvest season after season. Remember, successful disease management is an ongoing process that requires attention to detail and consistent application of these best practices throughout the growing season. Thank you for watching this comprehensive guide to managing cucurbit diseases. Apply these strategies in your garden and enjoy the rewards of healthy, productive plants.